What's that word you use?
Spoilers.
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 Spoilers. Spoilers. Spoilers.
I like that word.
I thought you might.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first in what I think Review Who. This is going to be my series reviewing every Doctor Who story from the very beginning to the most recent episode broadcast on television. But first, an update for you all on my Friday schedule. So originally I said my Doctor Who Fridays was going to be a fortnightly thing, and it still is, but it is going to be every 2 fortnights. That is, every other Friday. Once a week is basically what I'm getting at here. Originally, I wasn't sure how much content I was going to have and if I'd be able to do it weekly, but after having a look at scheduling ideas and different ways of doing things, I've decided what I'm going to do is every other week I'm going to review an episode of Doctor Who, and then every other week I'm going to do a random Doctor Who content video. So essentially, first Friday of the month might be a review, and then there will be a random Doctor Who video, then there will be another review, and then another random Doctor Who video. So for this week's Doctor Who video, as I said, I'm presenting to you my first Review Who, and it is my review of the pilot episode of An Unearthly Child. This is an episode that potentially not many people have seen. However, if you have the Unearthly Child DVD, and you may have already done so, you can watch the studio recording as part of one of the special features. Several versions of the pilot episode exist, however the one that's most easily and readily available to me is the studio recording on the DVD version, so for the purposes of this review, that is the one that I will be watching. The episode itself gives us some insights into how television shows were made in the 1960s, and also it gives us some interesting insights into the production of the show and how some things would change to come over the years. The overall style of the episode has changed, some of the clothes have changed, and even the opening sequence is marginally different to what we would have seen in the finished episode. The studio recording takes up 35 minutes, with the finished broadcast episode taking 25 minutes. The reason for these extra 10 is because there are things in the pilot episode, such as studio action, that would be cut out in the final edit. The plot itself remains largely unchanged from what we saw in the final episode, however a few shots and lines of dialogue were removed and changed. Some of the most notable ones are Susan making an ink blot, the Doctor and Susan's clothing choices have changed, and Susan's mention of being born in the 49th century.
I was born in the 49th century.
Due to the nature of a studio recording being unedited and unfinished, a few mistakes crept in. However, one of the very first fluffs that William Hartnell would best become known for doesn't actually come from him. It comes from Carol Ann Ford. When talking about the band John Smith and the Common Men, Ford accidentally says her line as that the band went from 2 to 19 in the hit parade instead of 19 to 2.
Common men. They've gone from 2 to 19, 19 to 2 in the hit parade.
The chemistry between the actors in the pilot works very well, however it would be a while before they worked very well together as a group. The initial scenes of Ian and Barbara discussing Susan in the classroom flow very well and feel very natural, and when Susan is introduced, the three actors play off each other very well. In some of the flashbacks to which we see Susan in the classroom, Ford's acting does feel a little bit lacking in timing and response to Ian and Susan. However, this is something that the actress would overcome in later episodes. William Hartnell's portrayal of the Doctor is good, but once again, it is very different to what we see in the broadcast episode. The Doctor has a colder, harder edge, being much more like the grumpy old man, rather than, as the 10th Doctor would later put it,
back when I first started at the very beginning, I was always trying to be old and grumpy and important, like you do when you're young.
Overall, the acting in this episode has its good and bad points, but for a television show only just finding its feet, the actors did a superb job of bringing what would be an otherwise alien script to life. This is actually something else that I've discussed in my other Doctor Who series, Did You Know? So I'm only going to talk about it here very quickly. In this pilot episode, when the TARDIS is opened from the outside, you can see the interior of the TARDIS inside. However, in subsequent classic stories, this effect has never been used. If you want to know more about this, please click below me, or follow the link in the description to my Did You Know series to find out a bit more about this strange occurrence. Overall, the pilot of Doctor Who is very much an episode that stands on its own. Not only does it present us with an interesting behind-the-scenes insight into the show, but also shows us some directions the show could have taken had the pilot not been changed. Normally at this point I would give the episodes a 1 out of 10 rating, however given the nature of the pilot as an unfinished and unedited episode, I feel it would be difficult to rate it this specifically. I will however say that as part of the history of Doctor Who, it is well worth watching, and I'm very glad that this was released on DVD for many to see. And that brings to a close the first episode in my What I Think Review Who series. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favourite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.